Hello there, thank you for staying with us and welcome to Face Off on Channels Television. I am Nelta Ebe. Now, this is one topic that has continued to generate reactions from all quarters, both those that are in the polity, in the corridors of power, those outside the corridors of power, even those on the social media platform, and indeed Nigerians generally. The market woman even has his or her own reactions. I mean, the market man and the market woman have their own reactions to this issue. Yes, what is that matter? The president suspended the central bank governor. Many have screamed, he has no right to do that. Some others have said, he who appoints has the right to remove. Now, what is the legal framework on which the president has gone about doing what he had to do? He said that the CBN's governor has been indicted in a report by the Financial Reporting Council. Is that enough to remove the CBN governor? What about the timing? Is it the right timing? Now, since that was done, there's been some effect on the capital market and indeed the economy, as some will say. But that's not what we're looking at today. We're looking at the legal twists, the twists and the turns behind this action by the president. Was he right in doing what he had to do? Is it necessary for him to do what he had to do? The legal procedure, was it followed properly? What does the Constitution have to say about all of this, about the powers of the president? And indeed, what does the CBN Act have to say about the powers of the president, the removal and appointment of the CBN governor? But then some other area, what does the Interpretation Act have to say about this? We're looking at several sections of the three books of the law in Nigeria. The Interpretation Act, will be looking at Section 11 of the Interpretation Act. On the CBN Act, we'll be looking at Section 8 and Section 11 that had to do with the appointment and the removal of the CBN governor. And then in the Constitution, we're looking at Section 5 that has to talk about the executive powers resting in the office of the president. But all of that will have to wait. I am not the lawyer. I have two lawyers in the house. Mr. Chuks Nwachukwu, thank you for coming to the program.
Thank you very much.
And Mr. Olufemi Ibiayo, thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, you have like a few seconds to state your position. And I begin with you.
Yes, I very much...
Was the president right in doing what he did?
The president is right. Absolutely right to have suspended the CBN governor. I believe that the words of the CBN Act and then the theories of constitutionalism and presidentialism support the president.
All right, thank you. Was the president right in doing what he did?
Well, in my considered opinion, I would say the president's decisions most likely did not comply with the Constitution or with the relevant provisions of the CBN Act and other essential relevant ancillary statutes that may be applicable to the CBN Act.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll take a quick break and when we return, we'll continue with our conversation. You too can be a part of the discourse. Just connect to us via Twitter or email, tweet at FaceUpToday or at NeoTibe, or send your mail to faceup@channelstv.com. The hashtag is CBNGov. Let's join the conversation. The legal framework, the legal twist behind the president's action. We'll be back shortly. Don't go away. Welcome back. We're discussing the legal twist behind the suspension of the central bank governor. Two lawyers in the studio, Mr. Olufemi Ibiayo and Mr. Chuks Nwachukwu. Gentlemen, welcome. So since you gave your opening statement first, you can ask the first question.
Okay. Chuks, do you think the suspension order and the incidental orders that have been made by the executive are in order, are constitutional?
I believe they are absolutely constitutional. Now, since you mentioned the Constitution, perhaps we start from there. Now, Section 5, I believe, of the Constitution says that the executive powers of the Federation are vested on the President, albeit says that those powers are to be exercised in accordance with any law that is made by the National Assembly. Now, we have two things here. The vesting of executive powers and then the laws made by the National Assembly. My take is that the National Assembly cannot, by exercise of the power to make laws, to guide the exercise by the President of his executive powers, take away those powers. You cannot take away any aspect of the executive authority of the President. And where you make a law that says the President cannot act in a situation he perceives, calls or places a duty on him to act, to remove an officer in a very sensitive position in order to save the nation. Where you so constrain the President by law, you have acted inconsistently with the executive power vested of the President. I believe that is one issue that is going to go to court. So I believe that if you place an interpretation on the CBN Act that brings that act in conflict with the executive powers of the President, that's CBN Act will fall.
So are you implying that if the President did not act, he would have been acting against his own powers vested against him?
Yes. I mean, if you have report that somebody in a position of trust, like that of the CBN governor, is guilty of financial misconduct or other serious misconduct, and then you as a president, you cannot act to even see that the report is thoroughly and effectively investigated, then why are you the president?
Well, I take objection, first of all, to the point you've made. There is no finding of guilt anywhere, as far as I'm aware. All I'm aware is that there's a financial reporting commission who has issued a report, and I understand they are effectively carrying out some kind of investigation as we speak, and that indeed is even the whole basis why the executive have, in their wisdom, decided that a suspension order was necessary in order to aid the whole idea, the whole basis, the theme of it is so as to aid the so-called investigative process that is ongoing. First and foremost, I want to correct an impression. No power under the earth is absolute. Otherwise, then we would have dictators. And therefore also, executive powers as stipulated and created by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is also not exhaustive and not completely absolute. It's subject at all times to necessary checks and balances and modifications. For instance, the section referred to, section 5.1a of the Constitution, by section 5.1b of that Constitution says clearly that those executive powers shall extend to the execution and maintenance of this Constitution, all laws made by the National Assembly, and to all matters in respect to which the National Assembly has for the time being power to make laws. So we are saying that essentially there is no real exercise of power by the executive, except it is in line with the law and in furtherance and maintenance of the basis of the Constitution. Now, having said that,
let me just come in there.
Yeah.
If you said, if we have said that no power is absolute, that is correct, and I was not implying that the president has absolute powers. But you must also look at the National Assembly. The power to make laws is also not absolute.
No doubt about it.
So there are principles that the National Assembly must observe in making laws for the laws to be valid. If the National Assembly makes laws that it has no power to make, or laws that are contrary to the provisions of the Constitution, those laws will be declared bad.
What laws did the National Assembly make?
Now I'm saying that if the National Assembly should make a law that before the president can act to save the nation in a situation where the president perceives that the nation is in danger, or that the affairs of the nation are in danger by reason of a person entrusted with the office of CBN governor having shown himself to be not fit for that job.
Who makes that finding?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I said when the president proceeds.
You need to answer that question. Who makes the finding?
No, that's about.
On what basis is that perception?
That's exactly. Look, let me just finish this, and I'll come to this point that you're making about finding. I know that we have this thing. Oh, it's the court. You have not gone to court yet. But look at the language. The language says he's guilty of a serious misconduct in relation to his duties under this act. Misconduct is not. It's not an issue of the court. Misconduct is what you perceive. Whoever has that whoever has that oversight function over you. If reports have come, you have been queried, and then you answer to the query, and your answer is found to be unsatisfactory, you are guilty of misconduct.
Chuks, let me say that.
Misconduct is not that you are guilty of a crime. Anything can amount to misconduct. Now look at the situation where he said he donated 4 billion to, is it University of Sokoto or what? And the people said, we only got 1 billion. Even if they got 1 naira, isn't his job to start donating money to universities? If the president